Hi everyone. Welcome to the last week of stress management. I hope that you're getting everything done you need to get done and still staying grounded and centered to get through the rest of the semester and all of your finals. So this is the last week, and what you're going to be doing this week are a couple different things. Number one, there's a reading on page 193 to 207 in your book. And the main part of that reading that I want you to pay attention to is the section on willingness. And it's basically about willingness to really change. Because a lot of times we think we're willing to change and we complain and complain and complain and we say we want the change, but at some level we're really not willing. And to be able to look at that sometimes then just shifts the things that then make you more willing, like understanding that there is a little discomfort in change, and understand that sometimes we have to be willing to now look at a new perception of ourselves, and that things actually might be able to work out for us. And just you'll get it more from the reading. But so there's a reading, and then there's going to be a reflection on that. And then the second piece is a reflection that sometimes I call moving forward, sometimes I call stepping out. So if you see it referred to as different things, understand I use those terms interchangeably. And that's kind of looking back over the semester, looking back over all the things that you've read, some of you that have come into the Mind and Heart Lab, all the things that you've written about, maybe tangents that you've gone off on, and writing what it is that resonated with you, and why it resonated with you, and most importantly, what you're going to do about it. Because, again, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And even if something was really interesting to you or something really kind of clicked for you along the semester, if you don't implement it, it's not going to make a difference. So the idea is, how do you begin to really figure out how you're really going to implement some of this stuff in your life? And so for some of you, it's going to be a lot of little things. For others of you, it might be one really in-depth thing. Again, I think I told you the story about my girlfriend was the gorilla, and about how somebody, when we did the gorilla exercise, how somebody looked at and realized that he had just been totally overlooking his girlfriend because he was so focused on his stress. So he actually wrote his whole last reflection and his whole final paper with the title "My Girlfriend Was a Gorilla." So again, so that's a reflection that you're going to be doing. So those are both two different reflections, but you're going to combine them in one document. Clearly label the willingness, clearly label the stepping out or moving forward, and just submit that under one link. Okay, so it's going to be longer than a page because I want those two things addressed, but just submit them under one document. And then the other thing that you're going to do is you are going to submit your final project, which again is either the M-Wave, which would be just kind of maybe scanned documents, or however, whatever you need to do to be able to get those, some kind of visual of the printouts that you did. And if it's just too hard, and if you don't have access to a scanner and it's not going to work to take a picture of it and upload it, that's totally fine. You can come by and you can actually drop off a hard copy. If you've been coming in and doing the M-Wave anyway, it might be just as easy for you to drop off the hard copy, and that's totally fine. I just have most of the students upload it because then there is no hardship of having to come to campus if you wouldn't already be here. So I need a copy of your final, I need a copy of that last reflection, and then I need a copy of the heart log. And you'll upload all of those unless, again, you make arrangements with me to come drop off your final. So your final would be either the M-Wave or the time management program. If you are doing the time management program and you have it on a spreadsheet, it's okay to make it really small. It's okay to make the font really small just so it fits on fewer pages. It's totally up to you, but some people are like, oh my gosh, this takes up so many pages. It doesn't matter if the font is really small. So that would be the time management project. And again, last week I told you all the specific parts that were components of that, or the last one would be the 5-page paper. And again, that's kind of an extended version of the stepping out journal that you wrote. Whereas everybody did the weekly planner as a journal, and then some of you did a much extended version for your final project. It's the same for the moving forward, stepping out. So if you were deciding to do the paper as your final, it would be that same process. Go back and reflect over some of the things over the semester, what resonated, why did it resonate, and it's written still the same in a journal form. And most importantly, what are you going to do about it? But again, it's much more in depth than what that journal is. So again, those are the 3 things that you're submitting for this week, and then you're done. Then you're done with this class. So just in my kind of final parting words is that just please take care of yourself. At the most fundamental level, this class has really been about taking the time to look inside, taking the time to see how your whole mind-body complex responds to your internal experience of life, and that we really have the cause and effect of stress backwards. We think the cause of stress is all the things on the outside, and the effect is how we feel, and it's really the opposite. The cause is really our kind of how we're carrying our internal mind-body complex, and we talked a lot about how you go about changing that. We talked about how you go about changing that internally, and then the last couple of weeks have been, okay, so now what are the external things in our life that we need to change to be able to change our external life as well. So again, at the most fundamental level, this is just about taking care of yourself, finding time for self-care, finding time to look inside, finding time to really rebalance your emotional systems, and understand that every moment of every day you're adapting, and the most you can do is figure out authentic ways to cultivate nurturing and healing experiences in your life. And the more that you can do that, the more that becomes your life. In the world of neuroscience, little changes add up. And the more you can implement little day-to-day changes, the more your overall life is affected overall. And so I hope somewhere along the line you've gotten something out of this class, and just please take care of yourselves.